Hi, welcome to the Beyond Sundays podcast. It is December.
How did that happen?
I don't know, but we've made it to December 2025. We have a couple of weeks left and we are hitting 2026. And so we are in the thick of the Christmas season. And I thought it would be fun before we got into some things that I really think would be good for a conversation today. I thought we'd do a little Christmas trivia to start off. So we have Pastor Brian, Pastor Sam, Pastor Willie. And I had to go digging. I had to do research. I had homework, but I'm very proud of the results. Okay. So, Pastor Brian, that is yours.
So,
Pastor
like
Willie, Pastor Sam, do not open them yet. You can take the things off.
I feel like seeing
all right.
this lettuce.
I just want to let everyone know we were not prepared for this.
They are not prepared at all.
I don't even know what this
Don't
is.
mix them. Don't mix them. Okay. So what we're going to do is, Pastor Brian, you were born in the 70s.
Thank you for that's what
Pastor Willie was born 78, so we're going to call him the 80s kid because he doesn't really remember the 70s.
Makes me younger.
And then Sam is our 90s kid. You're our 90s kid.
Barely.
Wow.
No, 96.
Yeah.
You're our 90s kid.
I graduated in 96.
I graduated from high school in 91, so
Wow, man.
in
dude.
96 I was done with college.
There's a lot of gray hair around here.
So what we're going to do to start off is I'm going to ask you about Christmas songs, movies, and the most popular toy in the decade you were born in, okay? So we're going to start with the song. So you'll see on the top of the envelope it says Christmas song. All right, so Pastor Brian, you'll go first. Don't open it yet.
Okay.
What was the most popular song Christmas song now, in the 1970s?
So I was born in 73, so throughout I was like 6 when the 70s ended, but you know, growing up it was always like, maybe it was my household, it was always Elvis. My mother was like White Christmas. Blue Christmas, right? Elvis did Blue Christmas. White Christmas was the other one. I think the classics that are probably older than the 70s, but so I would say like Blue Christmas by Elvis. What is the Perry Como is the maybe White Christmas, but the classics.
So what
I
you're
have
going
to
to do
pick
is
one?
you have to pick one. So open your envelope
I'm gonna say Blue
and the
Christmas
answer
by
is there.
Elvis. Okay. So there's that.
Yes,
right,
there's an
right.
actual answer.
Okay. I'm sure I'm not right. Yeah. John and Yoko.
Yes.
Happy Christmas, War is Over.
War
That
is
makes
over.
sense.
Yep,
Yeah.
1970s.
You know who John Lennon is, Sam? Have you heard?
I heard the song.
It's a little band
I didn't know who
called
Yoko
the
was.
Beatles from She's the Who Ruined the Beatles, just for the record. Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. I know John Lennon is.
All right, so
All
Pastor
right.
Willie, you
Wow,
are
look at
next.
that.
What song do you think was the most popular for Christmas time in the 1980s?
Wow, in the 1980s, I was still in Puerto Rico in 1980s, so
Yeah, but you listened to your...
yeah, I think one of the popular songs there was Feliz Navidad.
That's a good answer. I like it.
Jose Feliciano. Feliz Navidad.
You are so predictable. All right, well, open your envelope and let's see if you were right. So this is the most popular Christmas song in the 1980s.
Mariah Carey too, but
That's
That
good.
age?
So yours is Do They Know It's Christmas by Band Aid. So that's when all of those
I don't know.
popular...
I don't.
Yeah, so Feed the World,
Yeah.
Do They Know It's Christmas
Michael
time
Jackson
at all?
and all the
Yeah,
people,
Michael
yeah.
Jackson. Yeah,
Yep.
so that was
Came
the most
together.
popular
Yeah, they have to
song
sing it.
in the 1980s. All right, dude, this is like yesterday.
Yeah.
What was okay, I'm going to say though,
Was Mariah Carey in the 90s?
I'm not answering that. And for the record,
So,
you are a total vibe.
You're gonna light it on
I don't
fire.
know
All of
anything.
your
Oh, yeah.
answers are a total vibe. Okay, so what was the most popular song in the 1990s for Christmas time?
I don't even know what the popular song is now. I'm gonna go with that Mariah Carey one.
What is it called? Do you know?
Merry Christmas. I don't.
Baby,
All I want for
maybe.
Christmas is
Yeah.
you.
All right, go check
Is that
out.
it?
there you go.
You might have come the closest because we.
But I feel like that's early 2000s.
No, that is the
Wow.
90s. Most
Whoa.
popular.
Yeah.
I even Brian did a PG photo because there were none. It's like
Is this picture auto-tuned?
No. But it was All I Want for Christmas Is You,
Wow,
and
I
it's
didn't know
still
that's
going
90s.
strong
It's
as
still
one
popular.
of the most popular Christmas songs of all time.
Well,
I don't know. I don't think that would be Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
No, that's a better one. 100%. By Mark Anthony. Come
Listen,
on.
this is all data.
That's so good, bro.
This is
That's so
science.
good.
All right, moving on. Okay, Pastor Brian,
All right.
what was the most popular Christmas movie or TV program in the 1970s?
I mean, it has to still be the "You'll Shoot Your Eye Out" kid, right? Which is not "It's a Wonderful Life." That's a Christmas story.
All right, well, let's
That's
see.
gonna be my
What was
guess.
the most popular Christmas
And I think
movie
it's
or
today,
TV program?
too.
I have to say TV program because he's from the 70s.
Wow. VHS program,
No.
Betamax. It
Yeah,
was.
so it's actually Santa Claus is coming
Santa
to
Claus
town.
Is coming to town was Fred Astaire.
That's a
Yeah,
good one, dude.
that's a great one.
All right.
Just put one foot
Yeah.
in front
Yeah.
of the other.
Sam, I never heard that in my life.
Get out of town.
No, I never. It's a Wonderful Life and Christmas Story. That's all we.
All right, so
And
for
Die
Will,
Hard.
what
Die
was
Hard's a
what
Christmas
was
movie,
the
right?
Yeah,
most
true.
what was the most popular Christmas movie in the 1980s?
That's a tough one for me. That to be
Die
something-
Hard.
Well, it
It's gotta
wasn't-
be
it
Die
wasn't
Hard.
Feliz
Isn't that
Navidad.
the
That's
It
80s?
all
wasn't
you
Feliz
need to know.
Navidad. It had to be something with Santa. Santa Claus 1, I guess.
Okay, well let's see.
Let's see. There's so many of them.
It's actually a Christmas
Wow.
story. So Christmas Story
Oh,
was in the
in the
1980s.
80s.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
What a good movie.
All right, Sam. What do you think? What do you got?
Home Alone.
1990s.
Home Alone.
All right,
Yeah.
let's check and
You
see
get
if
on
you're
the
right.
easy one, huh?
That's a good answer.
I was thinking about it this morning.
Yeah.
Not the question, but. Oh!
Yeah, there you go. All right.
That's
Dude, the
right.
90s were a killer.
90s
Killer
were,
decade.
were a killer.
Well, our decade was like 40 years ago. We don't remember anything, but yours was like 5 minutes
Wow.
ago. So
Okay.
Two
All
for
right,
two.
one
some
more.
notes.
Two
All
for
right.
two.
So this one's a little different, okay? We're going based on the year you were born. So it's just a guess, okay? So what was the most popular toy that boys received for Christmas in 1973?
I mean,
Stone tablets.
a Slinky maybe. A Slinky. I don't know.
All right,
That's
well,
gonna
let's
be
see.
my guess. I want to guess the 80s. I think I could guess the 80s. It was a Cabbage Patch Kid. It is Evil Knievel. I had this.
Did you have
I
that?
legitimately had this.
Evil Knievel Stunt Cycle.
Yes.
No way.
I
It actually,
did.
the bike
Yeah.
moves? Like,
Oh
you
yeah,
wind
no.
It up?
It had a van. You jumped over stuff. You wound it up. It flowed. Jumped. Oh, I. This is bringing back memories. I'm gonna find one on eBay.
Never know
Yeah,
what to
that's
get you for
great.
Christmas.
All right, so Will,
I think
what
we
was...
should have had a 10-year difference because so we were 10 when
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, true.
be mad 'cause
Will,
I'm
what
winning.
was
I know.
the most popular toy that boys received in 1978?
In America. In
In
America.
In America. I would say G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. That's a good guess.
That is a good
That's
guess.
a good guess.
That's a good guess.
Or maybe Marbles.
Marbles.
Yeah.
It's actually Star Wars
Yeah.
action
Wars.
figures.
Yep.
Star Wars
I
action
had those
figures.
too.
So I think Star Wars came out in 1977,
Maybe. Something
and
like
so
that.
something like
yeah.
that. And so that 1978 was
Makes
like the year
sense.
for action
Yeah.
figures. All right, Sam.
Makes
This
me-
is my favorite
Oh, here we
envelope
go.
out of all of them. What was the most popular children's toy
Children's
for
or boys?
children for Christmas in 1996?
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna-
can guess. I think I got a
that
good
little
guess.
thing you can, that little pet on the
Tamagotchi?
Tamagotchi.
I don't know.
That's what I'm going with.
What would your
I would have
guess be?
said Elmo. I would have said the
And
Elmo.
what would you say in the 1990s?
1990.
Elmo is crazy.
Yeah, that's when.
I
Oh no
didn't-
no
I didn't
no
play
no
with
no
toys.
no no! I'm gonna go with a Nintendo 64.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
All right. Well,
That
open
was-
it up and let's see. The most popular toy in 1996 for children.
Ninja Turtles or something?
It was Elmo.
Tickle
See?
me Elmo. Tickle me Elmo.
That was my guess.
So Sam is a whole vibe. He's all I
got
want
two
for
of
Christmas.
Sam's. I got Christmas
Home
Story
Alone and Tickle Me Elmo.
See,
You know how I get Ellie to eat her food sometimes?
How?
I have to talk like Elmo to get her to eat her food. It's like I won't do that.
All right. I'll take your envelope so that it's out of
that
the way.
was good. I like
All
it.
right.
That was fun.
We have a Q&A. All right. And I anonymously spoke to some of our CFC kids, and here are the things they want to know. Okay. So the first one: what was your favorite toy that you ever received for Christmas? So anyone can go first on that one.
When I was a kid, I'm not sure why, but I wanted a piano so bad. I wasn't a musician. I didn't know anything.
You still want a piano.
And I wanted a piano so bad.
You can put that in the finished
and I ended up
basement.
getting it, but I don't know what I did with it. But I was not a piano player. But I wanted it so bad,
And you ended up
and
getting
I ended
it?
up getting it for one of the Christmas. That made me very happy. But I'm not a musician, so.
So you just made a lot of
Yeah,
noise
I
and you
guess
gave
so.
mom a headache.
No, we used to have a group when we were younger. We were all singing, and we all had different instruments. So we would come together and pretend we were like this big.
Yeah.
I thought we
band,
need
and-
help on the worship band.
No,
don't
we don't
Yeah.
need that kind of help, I promise you.
So getting that piano made me feel part of the band. You know,
That's
so that was
sick. I didn't
good.
know
Yeah.
that.
How about you, Sam? What was your favorite toy to receive on Christmas?
Oh, that's tough. The first one that comes to mind, I remember this because Christmas was on a Sunday, and I was so mad we had to wait till after church to open up presents.
Mm-hmm.
And it was two revolvers, two cowboy revolvers, and I just remember shooting my brother.
Like cap guns? Did they-
Kind of, yeah. No, I don't even know if they were cap guns, but it would move and
Made
stuff.
the noise, yeah.
Yeah, or my PlayStation 2, one of those. Yep.
All right. How about you, Brian?
I
What do you got?
remember one year I wanted this so bad, and my parents, I always kind of knew. It was like we gave them a list and we got everything, and they must have told me, "Oh, you can't have that." And I used to love Legos. That was my main thing. But this one year it was an Ewok village.
Okay.
Talking about
Yeah.
Star Wars, and
Yeah.
it was like this whole little village, and they had little, tree house that goes up and down, and all the little Ewoks. And I was so disappointed because I thought they kept saying, ask for something else.
Right.
And I opened that up, and I was so excited. I got the Ewok village, so that was my. That was probably my favorite toy as a kid. I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, and I loved that, the little Ewok. So that was mine.
For
yeah.
me, it was the year Aladdin came out and those Barbies came out. But I did get in trouble because I knew where my mom hid the gifts and they were already wrapped. So I unwrapped it and rewrapped it, and my mom knew. So I opened it, but I wasn't allowed to play with it until the next day. So lesson learned. Okay. Do you have a favorite Christmas song? I already know what yours is.
Feliz
and-
Navidad.
No. That is not your favorite
No.
Christmas song. What is your favorite Christmas song?
I'm gonna be honest. Is Grandma got run over
Oh,
by a reindeer?
It is the karaoke Christmas song for you.
Yeah.
That and Blue Christmas. You do both
Blue
of those.
Christmas. Yeah, that's right.
What about you, Sam?
I don't know. I like them all. The old hymn ones, definitely Hark the Herald.
Mm-hmm.
I love that one. I'm drawing blank.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. Hark the Herald. We got
Hark the
it.
Herald.
I have like a fun one maybe, so Mary Did You Know is
Yep.
just such a beautiful song.
Yeah.
That's always kind of, but I love Blue Christmas. I've always loved that.
yeah.
I don't know, I think I grew up and my parents were just playing it all the time.
Yeah.
So I remember that song, and I remember the Christmas lights that was so hot you touch them and your skin melted to the lights, before safety.
I don't remember
I don't
that.
know how you didn't burn our house down. But the bulbs were beautiful colors, but you touch them, they were like 1,000 degrees. That's my childhood, yeah.
That's awesome. And also, for our listeners, you can comment below what your favorite Christmas song is, a toy that you received for Christmas that you really loved. Our next question is, do you have a favorite cookie that you enjoy? Like, it's the time for a specific cookie?
I eat them all.
Yeah, I was just saying the
Is
same
there
thing.
one that you're just
No
like, oh man, I
discriminating
love these cookies?
Right now, gingerbread. Right
Gingerbread
now, in
right
this
now.
moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gingerbread.
Not a Christmas one, but I like Oreo cookies.
He does love Oreo cookies.
But any kind of cookies, I think.
I like just the regular like sugar cookies, and they always have the frosting. So there's candy canes. There's a little
Yeah,
gingerbread guy with a green Christmas tree. Probably the green Christmas tree sugar cookie.
Okay,
was
so
my
please
favorite.
And Little
subscribe and
Debbie's.
palette.
Yeah. Little
Debbie's. She was my
Christmas
first.
cakes?
She was my first love, Little Debbie. I'm not gonna lie.
As a Bongiorno, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rachel.
All right, so the last question we have, this one has to stay anonymous because I promised that it would. Did you believe in Santa when you were little?
I did until at some point I had a heart-to-heart with my parents. And I was like, so you lock, I would check because they locked the door. And I'm like, all right, well, he's not coming in through the door. And then the chimney thing, I was like, I don't know how old I was, probably 7 or 8. I'm like, I don't know, this thing. And I think my parents said, okay, there's no Santa, don't tell your sister, you know.
Right.
But I was pretty young when I was like, man, this doesn't sit right with me, you know.
Yeah.
But I did until then, you know. And I didn't even want to have the conversation because I didn't want to be right. I wanted to pretend. It's probably like a year or two where I'm like, this can't be real. And I didn't say anything until finally I was like, all right, guys, we got to sit down, you know. But, yeah.
How about you, Sam? Did you?
I know I did believe, but it was fuzzy. I don't remember if I stopped believing. The only reason I know I believed in Santa was because one year we were acting up after we got all our presents, and that was when we got our PlayStation. And I remember my dad took it outside, held it up to the sky, and was screaming, "Take it back!" And we all like started losing our minds. That's all I remember. That's how I know I believed in Santa, because I was like, no!
That's good.
I really believed he was going to take it back.
What about you, Will? Because was it Santa or was it the
See,
Three
for me, it's
Kings?
different because we didn't celebrate
Christmas.
yeah, I mean, we didn't celebrate we celebrate Christmas, but Santa, I didn't hear about Santa until I came here to the United States. We used to celebrate the Three Kings,
Okay.
right? So that's what I was expecting.
And did you believe that they were real?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that they
I
were
believe
really
that they
coming
were
to your
real.
house?
We
So
will
what's
prepare,
the process of
we
the
will
Three
prepare
Kings?
a manger, right? We fill it up with all the stuff, and we put it under the tree.
Right, it was
And-
hay. Right?
Yeah, hay. We put hay in
inside.
it,
Yeah.
and then expecting that the Three Kings were gonna come and give us gifts.
So the camel would eat the hay, or whatever, right? The horse,
Yeah.
and then they would leave gifts.
I didn't
in
believe
the-
that part, but yeah.
But that was the point,
Yeah,
right?
that was
they
the
would eat
point,
the hay, and
yeah.
then they would leave gifts.
And they would
in
leave the gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Santa, for me, was more when I came here,
Yeah.
and I was already old
And
enough,
now
so I
you're
didn't
not.
believe
Now
in it.
you're not a fan of Santa because he gets all
No,
the
we're
credit.
still friends. We're still friends because he leaves me the cookies, so I get to eat the cookies at night.
With all my kids, though, we did the Elf on the Shelf as long as we could. You
Yeah,
know, we'd hide them, and that was fun because every morning they'd wake up and look around, where are the elves? And we'd look with them, we have no idea, you know. And
Yeah.
sometimes we forgot where we hide them, and we really had no idea. But I think last year was the first time that, you know, we didn't, Julie was the last one. It was like, now we just put them out there. And it used to be, don't touch them. If they fall and you
Right,
touch them, the magic's gone. And
Yeah.
it's fun, you know. It's you know, you enjoy that as long as you can with Elliot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes by fast.
We still have a long way.
Yeah, you guys got the little ones too, yeah.
All right. Well, so thanks for sharing this trivia time.
Are you going to
And
put a
again-
disclaimer on this, though?
For what?
For all the little kids.
No, they need to know.
What?
What?
We got to talk
This
about
is a
that.
big. This is a big debate right now with children. Is
I don't know
is
how
he
many
real?
little kids are going to be watching this.
That's true.
This
Yeah.
podcast, right?
Well, I mean, it was their questions.
We'll
so-
see.
And I don't want Michaela to
Oh,
know that I
boy.
eat the cookies.
Yes, I still believe in Santa Claus. He's absolutely real.
I saw him last night. He's doing well.
He will take your PlayStation in the sky.
All right, so now we're going to move on to a deeper discussion, okay? In this, I was thinking about what could we discuss that had different layers to it. And so I really thought about how do we keep Christ the center of, like, in our lives during this Christmas season, right? Because it's pulling us in so many directions, right? We know the saying that Jesus is the reason, and he is. But at the same time, there's so many things pulling us, and it's so easy to lose focus. It's so easy to sort of get unaligned, right? And so, I've kind of split this into three different things. So we'll start with Sam, and if you do have children, this might be a good thing for them to hear. But how can children keep Jesus in the center during Christmas time when children are mostly thinking about their list? They're writing that list to Santa. They're getting those Amazon, Walmart catalogs in the mail. They're, they're meeting with Santa, and Santa's like, "Hey, what do you want?" So this is a season where they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is it. This is the year I'm gonna get whatever it is that I've been hoping for." How do kids keep Jesus the center during this time?
I think, there's probably so many things you can do. But what comes to mind is, number one, read the story. I think reading the story, sometimes we read or we talk or so much about what the Bible says, but we got to spend time reading it too, you know, and getting into the detail of it. So I think first just reading the story with your family, you know, or reading it on your own, you know, read it a couple times during the Christmas season. And then I would say, really, how do you get past a little bit of the greedy part of Christmas, right?
Yeah,
I would say one cool thing would be maybe try to give gifts to your family. You know, even if you don't maybe have enough money, like make cards or do something, you know, where you can give as well. And then I think the parents can really be the ones who influence this. Would be maybe find time to volunteer somewhere. You know, that because what you find, it's not until you start doing it that you realize, oh, I actually do enjoy doing something for somebody else. You know, or if you can't give a thing, give some time, spend some time.
Be the thing given.
Yeah, be the thing given. You know, go to Gifts to Give, or
well, like you said, I like that idea of make something. You know, there's nothing better to this day than when my kids make me a card, right? You know, it doesn't take much money, but it takes a little time.
Yeah. Those are my thoughts.
That's good. Yeah.
I knew a family that would have their kids every year. They had 2 kids, and they would find a toy, you know, because, you know, the kids get a ton of toys on Christmas, and then they still have, and it wasn't something junk. It wasn't like your least favorite, but it was a toy that you still liked, and they would have them give that toy. So they understood not just giving like, I don't want this, but sacrificial. Like it wasn't your favorite toy, but it was something you still liked. And I remember hearing that and thinking that was a really great, because the kids, they might not have money, but they got a room full of toys.
Right.
You know, so I always thought that was a great idea.
So our little one had a really hard time with the toy drive this year, the CFC toy drive, which I think we're gonna, you know, talk to everyone about it on Sunday. But it was extremely successful. It blessed the socks out of the DCF workers. But Michaela, our littlest, had a really hard time helping us pack up those toys and move them into the storage area. And every doll she would see, every Barbie she would see, she's like, that's mine. That's mine. I need that. Oh my gosh, Mom, I need this. I need to take this home. And so this past Sunday, she cried. Like we had to rip her from the closet, from the storage area, into the car. She had a huge meltdown because that was hers. She needs it. She needs to have it. So what we did was we delivered the toys the other day, and we had her and the other girls join us, and they packed the van. We went to the DCF office where she knows a lot of the workers. They love her, and they knew she was having a hard time. We had told them ahead of time. She's struggling with, you know, giving these toys away. And so one of the workers said, "Thank you so much for giving this to the little boys and girls who really need it," you know. And so she just packed up those, what were they, like the containers that we were filling, the carts. And she was so happy. And we never she didn't talk about it anymore. She did very well. Yeah. She did really well. Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah. We took pictures. It was phenomenal. Yeah.
All right. So, Willie, next is you. All right. How can parents keep Jesus the center of their family during the Christmas season? This is a time when, and we're experiencing this right now, so one of our girls dances ballet in the Nutcracker. So we're like rehearsal overload, and now the performances, family gatherings. My grandma is going to be, you know, is on hospice, and so the family's coming together. They're flying in from other places. So we got family coming in. We have performances. We have church special events. We have Christmas parties. Then there's the shopping, the list. Then there's that expectation of like keeping Christmas magical and, you know, exciting, and you want your kids to have these special memories every year, right? And so there's all of this happening, and it's pressure, right? And it can rob us of sleep, it can rob us of joy. And so how do we as parents keep Jesus the center of our family?
Yeah, and I think the answer is similar to Sam, right? We got to read the story. One thing we do at our house, and you kind of lead that, it's we are going through Advent. So we explain what Advent means and the peace, the joy, the love, the hope. And so we have those conversations. So you got to have those conversations like we were just talking about Michaela, right? That it's not just about getting it's Christmas toys, because now everything's so commercialized, right? They make it like that so kids will be drawn to that. Right. So it's just reminding. I had the conversation with Michaela because she was crying, right? That's my baby. Where's my baby? And so I was having a conversation. I felt, is she gonna understand this or not? And I was like explaining to her, this is the time you're gonna get, right? For Christmas, you're gonna get gifts, but right now this is the time to give. Right. And I was like, did she get it? Did she not get it? And she stopped crying, like she received it. And she did so well by giving. So it's just reading the story, reminding us what Christmas is all about. That is, yes, we get because Jesus gave us, right? Jesus gave, God gave us Jesus. So yeah, we do receive, but just teaching them and reminding us that it's about giving. Spending time with family. We've been spending a lot of time with Silas, who came over. Now we have her brother who's gonna stay over for 3 days. We have a party coming this Sunday. We have so much, but it's just reminding, and our prayers together, just reminding us that. It's about Jesus. It's about the hope, right? The peace that we have, the joy, and the salvation that we have. And so it's just reading the story, like you said, being reminded of those things that, time gets hectic, we're here, there, but just taking those moments to say, God, this is about you.
Yeah,
this is
about. I really think, too, being okay with things not working out the way you expected them to. So like the Christmas event we had at Smith Mills, I was part of the planning, so I knew everything to expect. We got there late. We weren't able to experience everything. And I'm just like, no, Christmas is ruined, But it was such a beautiful time when we were all together, the kids sang. And so being okay with, it's all right. It's not going to ruin their lives, but there's this pressure of like, no, this is going to be the best Christmas. Every year is going to be the best Christmas ever, And so, but it's okay. They had a great time. They didn't even notice the things that they missed. And then I think, too, so we've been going through the Advent, and then I'm reading to them this little Christmas devotional for the month. And it's talking about the story of his family, right? And we're seeing God's love in the story of Jesus's lineage, his family. And so we're at Noah, and it talks about how God created a wooden boat to save the people he loved, and then he created a wooden cradle for the people he loved, and then a wooden cross for the people he loved, And so just really, like you said, just reading the scriptures, talking to them constantly, being okay if something doesn't work out. And then even with the gift giving, because we have 1 million kids. And that's different personalities, different likes, the colors, the whatever it is. But it gives us a time to think about each child specifically. And you're thinking about how you're going to bless them, right? Oh, I know this one child's going to love this. I cannot wait for her to open this. And so it's given us the opportunity to talk about each child and what they would really like, and what would bring joy to them in that moment. And where sometimes they're all in a clump for us, and so that's been really nice.
Yeah, and it's still keeping it magical for the little ones, right? Especially for Michaela. The other ones are oldest, but just keep it magical for her. But just reminding her that, one thing I'm going to be doing too, we're going to be doing a nursing home carol. So I want to take them there so they could, experience that it's given as well, and it's a time of. So.
Yeah, I think that idea of sort of, because it is a time of tradition, and so I think the consistency of. Even, when you look back on the things that maybe our parents thought were kind of goofy, we look back with nostalgia. That was fun. Mm-hmm. And the things we do with our kids are going to establish a pattern that hopefully they do with their kids when our kids have kids. Hint, hint. And so,
all I
want for Christmas is a grandbaby. But that idea of, while it is a time where you're establishing traditions, and there's going to be certain things you do, dinners and things like that, having, like you said, having that be part of the tradition where, hey, every year this is what we do as a family. And as you establish those rhythms, even if it seems like we got kids bouncing off the wall, nobody's paying attention, you'd be surprised when they get older. They remember, oh, yeah, we used to sit down, we'd read this story, and I think that's important.
Yeah, and making Jesus a part of the tradition. That's okay, A lot of times we don't like the word tradition and Jesus together, right? It's because it's tradition is something where it's just like something you do, right?
Yeah, it can be, right?
Right, but Jesus can be the tradition in this season. It can be the habit of every morning of reminding us what Christmas really is about. All right, and so I got one more. You ready?
All right, I'm ready. Right. I think so.
Okay, so how do we keep Jesus the center of Christmas in our personal life? So not everyone is a parent, Not everyone is married. So there are people who are living in singleness. There's people who are grieving. There's people who are in rehab. There's people with demanding jobs. There's people with pressure and stress. And so how do we personally keep Jesus the center?
So, it's funny because a lot of questions I think we all know the answer to, and yet we have trouble doing it, right? Mm. So whether it's this season in particular, which I think, like you said, for some people it's a joyous celebration. For other people it's a tough time.
Right.
And maybe there's some loneliness. There is no substitute for solitude, for time with just Jesus. Mm. That means you shut your phone off. That means you go for a walk. That means it's not a half hour, 15 minutes, but it's a couple hours where you take time. People are, and I'm, I have a busy schedule, everything's in my calendar, but what we got to learn to do is schedule that time with God. The other day, my wife, and this is what happens, and our pastoral, my wife said, "Are you going to be here today?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Don't take it personal, but I need a day to be by myself where nobody's here at the house." I was like, "You don't love me anymore. You're kicking me out." But no, she just needed, she needed to decompress. She needed her time to pray and do it. And that's important. We need that. And I'm going to say it, and we're all going to make excuses why we can't do it.
Right.
But there is no substitute for the presence of Jesus. And the uninterrupted presence of Jesus. So sometimes we know I have my devotion time. Sometimes we know I have my time in the Bible. I have my prayer time. That's great. But how about your time just by yourself? And to me, I like being outside because that's when, just in nature. Maybe I go for a walk and I'm just listening. I'm not reading. I'm not praying. I'm just aware. Lord, this is our time together. Speak to my heart, still my spirit, heal my wounds, right? And so the more, again, I kind of preach Sunday, the more we need Jesus, the more he's there for us. And I think there's no substitute. The cure for loneliness isn't being in a crowd. You can be pretty lonely in a crowd.
Right.
The cure for loneliness is to be with Jesus, really be with Jesus. And if we don't prioritize that, then, if you don't control your calendar controls you, right? Mm-hmm. So prayer is important. Being around people is important, trying to enjoy festivities, reading the scriptures. But I think what we neglect more than anything is uninterrupted time. No TV, no telephone, nobody else around. A couple hours with Jesus. And the thing is that is never a time where we do that where we're not nourished. Never. Right. And the enemy will do everything to tell us, "Oh, I can't do that. I'm too busy. I can't find, But when we do that, he's going to nourish us. And we know that to be true. And that would be my encouragement is, if you can't find a little time and demonstrate that, then what are you telling the kids?
Right.
I was... when I talk to, my youngest daughter, and I pray with her, every time I'll take her to school, I'll pray, and I'll say, I know we pray together, we pray at night, but do you pray when you're on your own? And I said, do you just talk to God, And that's what we have to cultivate is a relationship. Mm-hmm. We talk about it, but sometimes I think people don't quite know. A relationship is built when you spend time, when you hear, and the louder the noise around you, the harder it is to hear the still small voice. Mm-hmm. But there's no substitute. Yeah.
No, that's good. And I think about, too, Christ-centered community, right? And so taking the time, the priority is being with Jesus, taking that time. But also I've learned in our different seasons, especially so in our seasons of grief and our seasons of change, God provides people that you need in that season if you pay attention. Right? If you're paying attention and if you're tapping in, God is going to provide those people that you need. So there were times when I needed a spiritual mom, and sure enough, there would be a spiritual mom there, just helping me through a really hard time. And so in this season of, it's really easy, and you tapped into that, it's really easy to get bogged down with the idea that this is Christmas and no one should be alone at Christmas. Why am I alone? Why am I experiencing this heartache? Why am I But in this community that God has created, he's giving you exactly what it is you need through the other people, you know.
Somebody once said there's no orphans in Christianity.
Right.
None of us are alone. None of us are without a father, you know. And sometimes we hear that, but I think we have to realize it. You know, we have to walk in the truth that you know.
Yeah. All right, and then just one more question. As we are this Christ-centered community, and we are focused on our city community, right? The people we live around, and how can we share Jesus? Because this is a time when it's all about charity, right? So this is the time when people who don't even think about their next door neighbor is putting in that donation, right? They're giving that money. Charities are chasing you down, and there's people waiting for you at the doors. And so how do we? And charity is a good thing, right? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but this is like the season where it's like on steroids, right? Charity on steroids. But how do we not just do charity, but how do we share Jesus in this season with others?
I think some of it has to do with, I know we talked about sharing the story, reading the story with the kids, but I think having dialogue, not being afraid to have questions about, what do you think Christmas is really about? And maybe asking people, what are your traditions and how did you grow up, and leading, if your heart is prayerful, and there's no substitute for, especially if you're going to spend time with somebody who doesn't know Jesus, of praying ahead of time, Lord, give me opportunity.
Yeah.
And you pray for that.
Yeah.
And it's not hard before the conversation goes to, but I think if you don't pray and you're not aware of it, it's not going to happen. It doesn't mean that if you do pray and that it's necessarily every conversation is going to lead to that way. But if you're aware of it, you're intentional. If you're not intentional, you don't think about it, it's never going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But if you're prayerful and hey, I'm going to spend time with this person,
right?
To say, hey, what is this to you? I'm just curious, what, and I think more often than not, a lot of times people are concerned with what they know or what they don't know, but we need to be a little bit more confident in the Holy Spirit, right? And I think if we pray and say, Lord, give me an opportunity here to share Jesus, I think doors are going to be opened, and we're going to have that chance to kind of share with people, hey, to me, this is my favorite. I love Thanksgiving. It kind of gets us into the Christmas, and it's just before all the gifts, and it's just time with family. And Thanksgiving is what? You're grateful. Right. Who are you grateful to? You're grateful to God. So it's kind of the best fact. But it's also a great opportunity to talk about, hey, what is it about this season that's so special to you? Mm-hmm. And as people kind of answer that, then the natural response is going to be, well, what about you? And then you can kind of say, well, yeah, this is, to me, this is everything, and here's why, Yeah. But I think, so there's an intentionality and there's a prayer preparation, right? And I think a lot of times that's enough, right?
Yeah. Also walking in that joy, because Christmas comes and people get, frustrated, they get overwhelmed. I gotta get this, I gotta get that. And it could be overwhelming. And if that joy is missing, you're missing Christmas. Right? Because Christmas is all about the joy we have in Christ. So just demonstrating that joy. I love this time of the year, the Thanksgiving, Christmas. I love this season.
When I tell you he's right, the amount of decorating and purchasing of decorations that this guy does, it's not me. It's him.
I love this time of the season. It just brings joy.
Maybe you'll get a piano for your finished basement.
Maybe I'll get to play upstairs this time.
Santa can close his ears to that one.
But just demonstrating, showing that joy, that this is a time of peace, joy, and that you're celebrating Christ. Right? Yeah, it could get overwhelming, it could get busy, but just having that joy that people see, that there's a joy. Yeah. There's a joy in you and during this season. So.
Yeah. And I think, too, in the perspective of charity, there's no greater charity you can give than your time and attention.
Right.
It's like...
And when you do, give, whether it's your time or your money, I think that does give you a little opportunity to share more than just a check. Right. Hey, I'm writing a check, I'm going to show up, but, it's because my heart is that you know Jesus, and let me share a little bit of my testimony, that kind of a thing. Yeah. And so I think it does. And I think there's also an openness that maybe you don't necessarily see, I always remember, for some reason, the famous story during World War II where they stopped fighting in the front line just enough cross and share a meal. And what kind of a powerful example of, hey, let's just for the day, let there be peace on earth, you know? Mm-hmm. And then where does that come from? Is that just an illusion, or who is the Prince of Peace, really? And you can get to spiritual. I think that what we have to realize is that if people don't know Jesus, then that means they're hungry. Right. It's never going to not mean that. Even if they don't look hungry, they're hungry. And when I didn't know Jesus, no matter what kind of front I put on, I was hungry because whatever I was doing wasn't fulfilling. So if we know that, hey, these people are hungry for Jesus, and I have that joy I can share with them, that's invaluable.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, you need to do some final words, sir, because you've been quiet for a little bit. I could tell your mind's been going.
You know this. When I was just reading C.S. Lewis, I just read Mere Christianity for the first time all the way through. He has this chapter on charity. And he almost, I never thought of this before, but I think he was using it as a synonym for love. And I had never thought about that really before. That took me, I had to figure out what he meant for a while. And I think, this is the easiest time to invite someone to church. Mm-hmm. Why? Yeah. Because this whole season is characterized by the charity of Jesus, right? And so there's such a window of time during Christmas where, we have an opportunity to talk about what are we doing right now? Why do we have mangers everywhere? And then to go talk to your neighbor who's setting up their Christmas lights, or it's easier to make conversation about Jesus when we all, even though it's a cultural thing, are celebrating Jesus. But that idea that the charity, charity is at its root is, I think, really love, right? It's unearned love. And,
it's giving instead of getting, right? And I think the illusion is that getting is more fulfilling. The reality is that giving is more fulfilling. That's pretty much universally true. Especially when you give, and it doesn't have to be money, it could be your time, but to somebody who really needs it. And when you give to somebody who's never been given to, I think throughout the years of times where we were able to come alongside somebody who maybe never had, and there's nothing more fulfilling than seeing that. And I think that's what the idea of giving is. For a minute, I'm going to not think about me. Right. And we spend most of our lives thinking about ourselves. And I think that the idea of suddenly going, and that's what you said with the kids, is you have to get them to see, you are going to get, right? But man, that's not it. The giving piece, there's a reality to that something happens when you give, particularly for people that are less fortunate. Yeah. I mean, what greater blessing is there to see kids' eyes light up who wouldn't have I think of a lot of times kids and parents are in prison or they've just never had that love. And that is the tangible love of Jesus, and I think it's a great opportunity.
We had a really good, teachable, really heart-changing moment when we first received Pamela. So Pamela was one of our foster daughters that we adopted this year. We got her when she was 6 years old, right? And I'll never forget, we had a room with a bunk bed and then a toddler bed. And I was doing her hair, and Joella, who is our biological youngest, and she's a year older than Pamela, was just sitting, we're talking, and I'm doing her hair, and I said, "Oh, Pamela, what did your room look like in your home?" And she says, "Oh, I didn't have a room." And I said, "Oh," and I said, "What, did you have a bed?" And she's like, "No, we slept on the floor with a blanket. We didn't have a bed. My whole family slept on the floor in a blanket." And then Joella said, "Well, what toys did you play with?" She's like, "I didn't have toys." She's like, "The baby had toys, so we played with rattles and we played with little cars because it was a little baby boy in their home." But no one had ever given her a present. She's never had a birthday party. I think she experienced her first birthday party with us and her first time actually ever sleeping in having a room with a bed. So that kind of just blows your perspective of.
And what's going to be more valuable to you? I mean, how do you beat that in terms of what you guys experience as being able to give her that? There's nothing better in the world, right? I mean, come on, that's to be able to see God use you to change the life and the eternity, like the opportunities, and to teach the kids, as you don't realize. I read somewhere recently, I think 50% of people on planet Earth live on less than $5 a day. We have no concept of that.
Right.
Half of the people on the planet live on, right? So and what happens is we get so much stuff, and it doesn't, not only does it not fill us, but it's almost like this endless void of stuff, and it loses its value. It has no meaning. We just have, and so I think it is an opportunity to even talk about that. What is giving? Why do we give? What are gifts all about? What's the whole point of gift giving? Yeah. And it is, you can't help but have those conversations lead to God and the greatest gift ever, right?
I remember a story that I'll never forget, and it was during Christmas season, right? We had a big family, and I was at church, and God was dealing with me about giving, and it was time for offering, but we still had a lot of things we needed to do for my kids, and we got to get this, we got to get that, and I had this money I wanted to give. But I didn't want to give it because I could use this. I could, get rid of my list or buy this and that. And I was just fighting until I said, no, God, I'm going to trust you. He was pressing in my heart, give it. And I did. I gave it. And by the end of the service, somebody came to me and gave me double of what I had, what I gave. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And it was
we were thinking about how on earth are we going to get presents this year.
I was in tears because God was dealing with me about giving.
You can't outgive God.
And by the time the service was done, somebody came to me, and God was speaking to me, and he told me to give you this. So for me, that was like, that changed my life, my perspective about giving and receiving.
And so I want to throw a little clause in there about Pamela. I get her Christmas list in July now. So she's fine.
She gets it. Yeah,
she's good. She gets it now.
Quickly has adapted to the American culture. Yeah.
But this is a great conversation. Thank you for playing our little game.
Yeah, this is fun.
And we want to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. We love you. We are thankful for you. And we pray that in this season that you experience the love of Jesus, that your hearts and your homes are full with his joy, his peace, that you are filled with hope, and that you are just enjoying all of the gifts that this season brings to our lives.
And an invitation to, to plug in. There's so much happening. Yeah. And whether it's you've never, usually after the service you leave and you've never gone to the gym and say hi to somebody, or whether it's a community group, or there's no substitute for the people of God gathering together, and we can't do it alone. We need each other, and I'm just so blessed by this team, by what God's doing in this church. I continue to tell people, I've been in ministry for a long time. I've been at different churches, different ministries. I have never seen or experienced. I just got through the whole thing.
Every time.
But I've never experienced the goodness of God in a tangible way like this, to see him working in my life, in our lives, but to see week after week people saying, I found a home, God is revealing himself to me, and so I'm just encouraged, and I would just invite everybody, taste and see for yourself. Don't miss out.
I love you guys. Merry Christmas.
God bless you. Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad.